Are you flirting with me?
A femme fatale is a sexy bad girl that comes out of these movies of the 40s, 50s, and going into the 60s. You know, you think of Rita Hayworth, Barbara Stanwyck, Joan Crawford. They're seductive, they're manipulative, they usually wind up double-crossing you and leading you to your doom.
What the hell do you think you're doing, Lily?
I made everybody think you kidnapped me.
I had this idea for many years, a story idea about a femme fatale who's involved in a heist. She double-crosses everybody, of course, takes off with the loot, and she's being pursued by her partners, who, of course, want to get her and the money. I got another idea about putting the film noir story into a dream sequence, because film noir to me is so dreamlike, so stylized, so fatalistic, that I thought it would be the perfect genre to explore the film noir form. I started to imagine the story with Parisian characters and locations. And then I went to Cannes for the first time, and I walked down the red carpet. My girlfriend was wearing jewelry. We were surrounded by bodyguards, and I said, wow, why don't I do a diamond heist at the Cannes Film Festival?
As everybody, I'm a big fan of Brian De Palma, and I'm attracted to visionary directors. And when I was approached by Brian De Palma to make this picture, I read the script in 2 hours, loved it, met with him, and he told me how he wanted to shoot it, and I just connected with him immediately, and we decided to just get rolling with the picture. It took a long time to decide how we were going to go about casting this picture. I have to say, to Brian's credit, he always said in the beginning, I'd like to find a new girl and discover her, the way I've done in other movies. However, I would understand if you, the producer, would want to start. So we just decided that maybe the picture would be so innovative, so new, so fresh, so surprising, if also the girl had never been seen before.
Well, a femme fatale has got to be drop-dead beautiful. She's got to be mysterious. She's got to be evocative of all our deepest and darkest desires. So this is a difficult girl to find. So then we sort of searched around everywhere from, you know, major movie stars to unknown newcomers. And Tarak Benamar met Rebecca Romijn-Stamos and was quite taken with her, called me up and said, you got to see this girl. And when she walked to the door, I said, wow, if this girl can act, we've really got something here. And I auditioned with her, and she was stunning on film, and now, because the part is so complex, there are many aspects of the character she has to play. I had some reservations, but she was such a quick learner, and she had such incredible natural talent that I said, guys, let's gamble with this girl, and we did.
My reaction, 20% excited and 80% terrified. It happened very quickly. I got on a plane and went and met with Brian. The script was still somewhat of a work in progress, and it's a huge responsibility that I've been handed. I don't take it lightly. I've been working extremely hard.
So I can go straight from the strappy to the table.
Right. Okay.
Brian's extremely relaxed, extremely calm, very helpful. He knows that I don't have a huge amount of experience. Very specific and confident in his shots. I mean, he had Antonio and I both come early so that we could do a certain amount of rehearsing before we started, so that, you know, he would set up these very elaborate, complicated shots, and we didn't have to worry about whether or not we knew our lines. And it's been really a pleasure and surprisingly, you know, easy to work with him.
It wasn't funny when you sold my picture to the papers.
I was afraid for your life. I felt responsible for it. Damn it!
That's so sweet, Nicolas.
The story needs somebody like that, with that power, you know, that visual power. At the same time, she's very funny, and I think funny is equal to irony, and irony maybe equal to intelligence. I can see that in the rehearsal time that we had at the beginning and during the shooting with Brian, and I didn't know that she got this dramatic ability.
That's very generous. I don't think you realize who you're dealing with, Mr. Bardo. We know all about you.
Antonio was really #1 on our list. We were surprised he agreed to do the picture because it was not the main part. It was a secondary but important part. He was a big fan of Brian De Palma, and his wife, Melanie Griffith, who had started with Brian De Palma, was all in favor of her husband working with the man who gave her her first opportunity.
Hi. I'm sorry to bother you, but I rented this room last night and I think I left my disc here.
Antonio, he's a very great actor. I mean, this guy can play anything. Incredibly well trained. He can sing, he can write, he can direct. I mean, the guy can do anything. And I felt a little badly because I was just basically using very little of his talents, but Melanie felt it would be a very good picture to be in, and she was basically the one that made it happen.
Brian is very specific. He may be thinking for a scene for a long time, but he shoots it in one shot, and he doesn't do any kind of coverage, which is good for actors too, because it allows you to work for like 5-6 minutes non-stop, which is very theatrical, and we are very thankful to that, because you get your own rhythms going on in the movie. You don't have to wait and just separate everything by 15 seconds emotions.
Thank you for today.
I'll be waiting out here just in case you need anything.
You don't trust me, do you?
No. It's not that. It's just being careful.
Well, being in Paris, I wanted to sort of pull in some American actors. Peter Coyote is an actor I've always thought was terrific. I've seen him in a lot of movies. And I needed this elegant guy to play the ambassador.
You're not gonna hurt her, right? Because I've done exactly what you told me to do. And I haven't talked to anyone.
You know, everybody likes to do high-grade, polished films that have the potential of being really popular. I love these films. These are the kind of movies I go to see. So to be in them with a really good director, on a great location, and also the fear of death at my wife's hands if I'd refused to go to Paris for a month.
This paparazzi scum is wearing a wire.
Greg Henry, of course, I worked with many times.
When I read it, I was just excited because it was great that Brian had written a screenplay that is dark, it was edgy, it was sexy, it was fun.
Hold on.
Hi, bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour.
And then I had this whole French cast. Eric Ebounet played Lumumba in the movie called Lumumba. He was just fascinating to watch. And then his partner, Edward Montour, was another just fabulous actor. They were just the best heavies I found here in Paris. And what you see in the Palais, the two girls pursuing each other and making out in the bathroom, that was a very funny thing because Rebecca turned to me and said, I got just the girl for this. She's an old girlfriend of mine. Where do you see her? And sure enough, Marie walks through the door and she is unique. Just unbelievable. I just loved photographing her walking. The way she walked is just some amazing piece of movement.
A femme fatale is a woman who knows where her strengths lie, who knows what her strengths are, and uses them in kind of a manipulative way, including sexual prowess and beauty.
Basically, Rebecca is a very sweet girl. She has a great sense of humor, but she's not a bad girl. And so she had a lot of fun becoming the bad girl. And we had to go all through the movie to come up with various, physical looks for her because she starts at the Cannes Film Festival with her hair slicked back and leather vest and tight leather pants. Then when she gets to Paris, she's got to change her look again because everybody's chasing her, so she puts on that black wig, which is the first time Antonio photographs her. Then, of course, she becomes Lily, which is this very sweet, very sad girl who's lost her husband and child. And then on the plane, she's playing sort of a phony, naive, her version of what Lily was as a young girl in order to seduce the ambassador-to-be because, this guy's got a hell of a lot of money and it'll get me out of my French life and into America. Then when she comes back as the ambassador's wife, she's got this very slick, wearing incredibly beautiful designer clothes, and we even put this fabulous hat on her that she gets photographed by Antonio the first time. And she sort of stays that way, playing the beaten ambassador's wife, this very sad, elegant character to entice Antonio into her web. Then, of course, you know, when she's got him, she reverts back to basically who she is, which is the girl we see in the bar in the boat that does the striptease. Then she gets caught by her partners in crime and thrown into the water, and she reemerges back in the bathtub. And we've done a complete 360 degrees.
I don't know if I would consider myself a femme fatale. I don't know if I've ever, you know, used my strengths to be manipulative, but I think I'd be lying if I said I didn't ever do that in my life. It's different than being just feminine, definitely. It's a woman with balls.
I'm a bad girl, Nicholas. Real bad. Rotten to the heart.